Why does technique have anything to do with your career?
Girl, if you want to go perform for Rosalia, don't come to learn from us.
Okay.
Did you hear that? Rosalia, aspiring dancers.
We're going crazy.
Yeah.
We're making a lot of bold statements over here.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome back to Artversations, a meditative conversation about the artistic process. If this is your first time clicking on the show, an extra special welcome. My name is Brie, like the cheese. Thank you for joining me. Check out the podcast Instagram at ArtversationsPod if you want to check out some more content, engage in this ever-growing, ever-changing, ever-expanding community of artists and art lovers. Speaking of, this episode features the co-creators of Blank Space. Arin, Morgyn, and Kaelin sat down to discuss their queer-led community art project serving artists and art lovers situated in Tkaronto. Heads up, this is a roundtable episode, so the audio does venture to some high extremities. For those of you who may be overstimulated by loud volumes, just a caution. Nonetheless, it is a blast of an episode. Lots of twists and bits. If you want to blast off to even more fun, I'll be hosting a Blank Space session on Tuesday, February 28th at 12:30 p.m. Let's jam! Okay, without further introduction, strap in, my listeners. Here is an hour with Oversize Load. Thank you for offering your time.
Yeah.
To talk with me.
I love talking. Fun.
Yay.
I love to talk.
We're going to talk about Oversize Load, which is the name of the company.
Yes.
Is that the word? I don't know. Entity?
Collective?
Collective,
yeah.
Let's get it straight. Answer
Yeah.
the question.
This is a grounding process for us, yeah.
Ooh.
Uh-huh.
And who are each of you?
I'm Arin.
I'm Kaelin.
And I'm Morgyn. All of our names end with N.
Whoa.
Wow.
That's
Uh-huh.
what it works.
Yeah. And I guess we're like co-creative producer of our collective. Yeah, it's a collective.
It's a collective. It's an art project between me and you.
Yeah.
Is what the Instagram bio says. Is that accurate?
Well, we're like the organizers and founders, but like it runs off of the energy and input of like other collaborators. So yeah, all of our work involves like other people as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a loose collective.
Uh-huh.
Nobody has signed any paper or anything, but
They're in it.
Once you're in the room, between us and you and you and you and you.
Anyone who wants to join.
Yeah, exactly. We like print out the coloring book and then everyone else has to color it in.
Ooh.
And the coloring book is a loose.
Yeah.
You don't have to color
It's
it
a
in.
blank
Yeah,
piece of
exactly.
paper.
It's blank space.
Yeah.
And we encourage drawing outside of the lines. Yeah.
Whoa. Aw, that's a cute analogy.
Okay, yes.
I'm a bit lost, but yeah.
Support applause.
Yeah.
So Blank Space
Mhm.
is this event, this series of events, this series of collaborations.
Mhm.
And you put out a form for facilitators to apply,
Mhm.
but that form is also ongoing, which I find
Yeah.
really interesting. Like, you're not necessarily closing the submissions, leaving open so much space for blankness.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we, in like previous sessions, this is like the longest we've done it for. We're going from February till May.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see, yeah.
Applying. Yeah.
And like Arin said, we're like the organizers, so we just like see what we get and we want to put it together in whatever way feels accessible. I think it feels more current. I think when you apply for stuff, it's always like, I applied for this like 6 months ago and then I have to remember what I thought about, and being able to like submit an idea and then put it into production in like less than a month is kind of cool.
Mm.
Mm.
And I think like with the goal of us building a community, it's something that we want to be ongoing, whereas like we've had different seasons that stopped and it felt almost like some of the regular people that came back, maybe we lost track of them, or like I think I'm excited to see how the kind of reliability of it will help in us building maybe more of a community
and more continuous like momentum,
yeah.
that we're not just like stop start, and then people are like, wait, what? Yeah, hopefully we'll be a little bit more of an active, regular presence that we can look out for.
Consistency. I like it.
Because there's also just like so many people who have things to offer, and even when you do one session you're like, oh, but I have other things that I would love, you know, like it's only 3 hours and you can only do so much. So I think it just shows like how much there is in Toronto for people to share, and I think our like only limiting factor is like finding available space. Otherwise you're just like, it's super easy to just get people together and say like, let's enjoy being playful and creative together, and people are so down.
Right.
Just trying to get it all sorted out, like the logistics.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I'm not at all gonna ignore that fact that, you know, even between the three of you, having to collaborate and discuss exactly what it is and how it's changing and who's involved, like there's a lot of, I think, variables to it, which is wonderful. I feel like that's the key thesis is that it's so loose, it's so like blank. But facilitating that kind of program or that kind of looseness, it takes a lot of open-mindedness, it takes a lot of processing and breathing. I'm wondering, like, between the three of you, how have you find working as a three versus working on your own? Besides finding space, were there other like limiting factors between the three of you?
Whoa.
I mean, it is more like cooks in the kitchen, you know? Sometimes, like, we just wrote a grant, and I think all of us had moments where we were like, I really like the wording that I used, and someone else is like, what the fuck did you say? And then it just gets a little bit, like, muddled.
We had this one question that was like, we spent half an hour being like, we have to implement the word mentorship in here somewhere. And we're like, no, I'd be like, oh, this is it. Like, I think I figured out how to say it. And then Morgan would be like, what the fuck did you just say? Like,
not that.
Yeah, not that.
Nope.
Yeah. And then we were like, we found it, that's it. And then the next question is literally, how do you intend to, like, basically, how do you intend to imply mentorship in the process? And we're like,
no way.
It was like really fun. It was really fun.
Yeah, it's like it's like with the, like, it's like our child, so we get to like, being able to like all raise this or like take care of this thing. Yeah,
I think it makes it better, like, because, you know, I can swear that the way I say things is the way it should be, and then I'm like, someone else's opinion comes into my ears and I'm like, oh, good point. That's a great idea. And so I think it just like helps us be stronger even when there's like a bit of misalignment or something.
For sure. Yeah, it's like it balances the load, but also like, we're not always gonna like agree that this is the right thing, and so I think it also, being able to get more opinions, more thoughts.
And because we're also like donating our time for like a lot of the work we do, and like we said, it's a lot of work. It's so nice to have the three of us, and like different tasks or like things that pop up. Sometimes someone needs to like step away and the other two need to work more, focus on getting the thing done. And it's really nice that we can like support each other in that way, and it's kind of it ebbs and flows.
For sure. I think even like we're dreaming of a process where it's also not just us, you know, like we have like had the ability, because we're so passionate about it, to like volunteer our time, but like as we apply for things, as we look for grants, you know, we are like three cis white queer people, so it's like, how do we, as an organization that like wants to get to like involve all artists, it's like, how do we get more opinions, and how do we get money so that people can see the holes in our sites as well, you know?
I really respect that. That ability to step outside of the passion that you all have for it and realize like there's so much more. That expansive like practice, I think, again, goes along with blank space, but also is really needed in Toronto.
Yeah.
Where there's so much, for me at least, there's so much branding that is like stuck, and a lot of like collectives like stay in their brand, and then they're like, I'm stuck here, I can't go anywhere else.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I think it's why I like to use the like child analogy, because I'm like, other people are going to shape this, and other people are going to like form this thing, and we like gave birth to it, but like I want other people to say what this looks like as well, because
and if my kid grows up like wanting to be a nail artist and that's not my passion, I want to support that child to do what it needs to do, follow its path.
Good parenting.
So
good
parenting
for sure.
And like, wait, blank space is gonna turn into
a nail salon. Honestly, I'm waiting. Step aside, new nails.
Honestly, could be a good collab.
Yeah. Hey, any nail artists out there?
Apply, why not?
Yeah.
That's
multidisciplinary.
Very multidisciplinary. Like
Yeah.
that actually is so true, and something that I think we're so intrigued by is like breaking. Like we're all dancers too. We have a dance background, but it's like how can just anyone with any sort of background of any creative thing come into our space and share what they do and influence and inspire each other.
Yeah, we're all dancers, so we promise that like we can reach to this like Toronto dance art community, but we've been so lucky to have like, you know, we had like Marianne Casasanta who like did this whole food workshop in the park, and then like my friend Darian who's like, I'm gonna teach like mapping, and you know, like we get these like beautiful experiences where dance kind of gets to step aside a bit as well, and that's really fun for me. Yeah.
And I think it also like offers other artists who are non-dancers to want to join. Whereas sometimes if it's just for movers and movers only and movers who are making it and facilitating it, then it's again that like restriction of a bubble of who can join and who is joining, I guess.
Yeah, we've always wanted to bring like movement practices or like an exchange of artistic approaches into the space, and like I think that's really hard to do also sometimes, to say like anyone can do it, and I'm still working from a place where like movement comes naturally because I've been doing it for so long. Like something that is like, oh yeah, this is good for everyone is maybe also like not accessible or common sense to people, or I don't know, like we have reached people like through Eventbrite that just saw the post and they were like, oh, I'm gonna check it out. They thought it was like a performance, and they came in like
a black
leather skirt and, like,
yeah.
Honestly, it was amazing, and it was like the most
so fun,
heartwarming thing because they just dove into it, and like, you know, I think there's something really fun also about a space where everyone is kind of on equal footing, and that you're just like taking risks, you're a beginner, nothing has to be like anything that it's not, it doesn't have to look a certain way. So for me, a big pillar of what we're doing is just like it's for everyone, hopefully. And I think like we're still learning how best we can do that and create a space that feels like that truly. But
yeah I think like a question for me is like, how you know, when you say this is for everyone, it's like a very vague statement, and so it's like, how do we fill in the information and the idea of the arts for like, it's for every discipline, it's for every whatever, it's from every like beginner to professional, all that. But then advertising that, it's just like, because of our circles, it's like, okay, well, it's just, we're gonna bring our like dance friends, you know? So it's like, that reach out is like challenging.
And then it's also kind of like, I'm trying to find like a way to say this, but take your time. Not all spaces have to be for everyone, or not everyone is supposed to enjoy the same thing. You know, I think also there is value in just saying like, this is what I have to offer, and this is what is going to be in the space, and you can participate in it if it's interesting to you, and if it doesn't work for you, that's also fine. There's no judgment in like that. So I think also not having this expectation that like everything is for everyone all the time. But it's like, take what you can and want to from it.
Yeah, I think then, like, maybe I'm just, like, now I'm, like, career brainstorming, and, like, what if, like, including in, like, a call, it's, like, what kind of people do you want in the space, you know? Like, what if you're reaching out, like, I was thinking about this when we were watching, honestly, when we were seeing the show yesterday, and I was like, oh, the audience is so important. The audience who's there, and I think maybe in pertains to the workshop, of course a facilitator wants to work with someone specific. I think our job is to get as many people to get all the different kinds of specific people in, and what you're saying, like, it's not for everyone, but we can, like, really take care of a specific person that week.
Yeah, all questions, yeah. I feel like if it becomes too vague, then there's not something to grasp onto. Like, as a participant, I'm entering in and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll be malleable and flexible to whatever, and then perhaps maybe it's too much openness and I leave feeling like I didn't concretely grasp onto what the practice was.
For sure.
At the same time, though, I feel like within art practices, there is so much specificity and methods and traditional ways of doing things that we must now learn how to do. Like, for me, I get stuck sometimes in getting too specific because I find that closes my mind. So what I really enjoy about this program, in the many times that I've come and facilitated, I'm able to be a sponge to whatever is needed in that moment, even if no one, even the facilitator, doesn't know what's going on. You know?
Yeah, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
This might be a time I want to ask about the upcoming event, which by the time this comes out, it will be happening tonight. But
come last minute, let's go.
If you're listening to this, buy your ticket right now. On February 21st, next Tuesday, Low Bill will be facilitating.
Low Bill.
What is their specific, maybe not specific, practice that they're hoping to discover?
That's a great question. I wish Low Bill was here to answer it.
Yeah, honestly, we're like...
You don't remember, because there's so many people.
No, it's that I feel like every time I've seen Low Bill perform or exist in any way, it's a very eclectic practice. They have, like, a history in movement and, like, Alexander technique and, like, in these, like, very, like, theatrical ways and somatic ways of processing. And I feel like their work is a lot about, like, honesty. It's a lot about like, I saw this one where she went on stage and was, like, talking about how uncomfortable she was right now, and she had a glass of water in her hand and she started shaking, and she's like, and then it got to the point where she's just, like, pouring it all over her body because she was getting some kind of reaction from the audience. I don't know, it was like, it's something very abstract about, like, awakening the space, about, like, connecting to, like, maybe something larger than us, very, like, spiritual, somatic.
It's called Unexpected Arrivals, Performance Risks. Oof. So it sounds like there's going to be risks taken.
Yeah.
Risks
and some
given.
unexpected
Right.
to us.
Right.
We don't know what to expect.
Well, I think that's what's exciting, and it kind of also speaks to this, like, blank space energy is like, yeah, it's kind of vague, and we're gonna show up, and if you like to perform and if you want to take a risk, like, yeah, but it also might be what we were speaking to earlier, like, it relies on some kind of, like, self-guided intention going in, like, we're getting proposed ideas, but we're not. The facilitator also gets the opportunity to be like, I'm a part of this too, and let's experience this together, rather than be like, I'm a teacher and I'm teaching you things and you have to learn how to do this. It's like, here's what I'm thinking about, and
let's figure it out together.
Yeah, exactly.
Or not. And that's also a thing about blank space that I love, is, like, it doesn't have to always be, like, a polished idea or like transfer of knowledge of, like, I'm the facilitator, I know what I'm doing, here's a thing to learn, and it's very experimental and experiential.
It's like an offering on all ends. I think to, like, go back to our history, you know, it was, like, mid-pandemic, and we were like, we have all these lovely friends who are able to have all this information or have ideas or are talking about these things they want to do, and I'm not doing anything. So, like, being able to be like, okay, here's 6 weeks, once a week, we're all going to lead something, and just getting the opportunity to have people volunteer their time to try something. I think,
Yeah.
not to out you, Morgan, but Morgan's session a long time ago, we just made a play on the spot, you know?
Hey!
Yeah,
And-
it's very collaborative.
Arin, Morgan doesn't really have any playwriting experience. And
Can't
this,
say I do.
What?
yeah.
Now I do.
Now, yeah.
There you go.
But
And without that chance to try.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
And that was so fun.
Mhm.
Was that the Greg play? No.
Trisha
Oh,
Paytas.
that was later.
Trisha
I don't
Paytas.
Yeah, she made an appearance.
I just
Yeah.
around like the way that our protocol in getting people to lead is like very relaxed also, in that I think we have kind of guidelines for the space and the type of environment that we're trying to create, but like whatever they want to bring is fine. A lot of the times we just trust that like what they're gonna bring is, you know, they're like, oh, I'm kind of thinking something like this or this or this, and we're like, do whatever you want to in the space, just as long as you're like respecting people's everything.
Yeah.
Safety.
We're respecting
Yeah.
each other, we're staying safe.
Yeah,
you're-
yeah.
I think a lot of the time it's just as much of like a journey and a surprise for us. It's really fun.
Mhm.
It's really fun. It's really needed, I think. I don't see a lot of these kinds of spaces. I see a lot of class, and I see a lot of teachers, and I see a lot of methods, and, you know, a respect that comes with learning those methods and never changing them, and, you know,
Totally.
Uh-huh.
which
Yeah,
I
there's like
understand.
no, or like we're de-emphasizing technique and
For sure.
giving an opportunity to train like creative process and like these things that maybe people don't have a lot of experience like on the spot coming up with a monologue that they turn into a dance that they give to their friend, and then the friend turns it into a drawing or something, you know, like
Yeah.
there's a different skill set that's being learned that I think is lacking in
Yeah.
Toronto. And like, not that artists in Toronto aren't capable of it, but that just we don't have a lot of opportunity to
Yeah.
practice it if you're not in a company, if you're not paid, if you're not, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That being said, though, if you want to come and teach a method or a practice, or like you want to practice for your next teaching gig, please, like I love like
that's welcome too.
totally,
Okay.
yeah. If you like want to like do 3 hours worth of tondus, like go for it.
Really?
You know?
Because I don't think that's what the space is
Really?
for.
We have a fight going on.
We have a fight.
No, but
Let's discuss.
I really think like it's okay. Yeah, it's not to do like a 3-hour class.
Yeah, we can't do 3 hours of tondus.
I mean, but if you want to spend 3 hours to be like, this is how I would do a tondu this way. This is, you know, like what are the different ways we can do a freaking tondu? How is your foot relating to the floor? Let's explore the tondu of the hand. You know, like there is like
Yes, Tandu of the
tondu of the hand. I think.
Go. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I did.
yeah.
Though I'm like, yeah, let's get the weirdos. Let's do the weird stuff, and let's explore these like creative methodologies and practice. Don't think just because you're like that's not something you do or something you haven't thought of right away. It's like not like I want to learn a combo.
Yeah, I don't hate on technique, and I don't
Yeah.
think that is the issue. Or I'm saying like, oh, we don't have people come in and do combos or like even exercises or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
Can I
but
ask
that.
what is technique? What is technique?
Like, to me, it's something that's like solidified and codified, and like we have the language around it. We have a
Yeah.
common understanding of. You can go into a room of contemporary dancers and tell them to all do like I don't even know.
A
any-
tondu of the
A
hand.
tondu of the hand. Yeah.
That's what I'm also like in that example. That seems like you're creating also your own technique, or you're like, you know,
Yeah.
so
That's bringing the
You're
spirit of the space into
Yeah.
thinking
Yeah.
beyond
Yeah.
like maybe ballet, and you're
Yeah.
like taking it somewhere else, and
Yeah.
then that's very exciting.
Mhm.
And that's very.
It is very exciting.
Or that's like more
Yeah.
interesting to me to have in the space than like, I mean, totally we could have people come in and do some like technique offerings,
Yeah.
but if the whole session was a ballet class, then I would say, well, go take a Christine Wright class.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Mhm.
Christine Wright if you want to apply.
We'd love to have you.
I would love to learn from Christine.
Yeah.
I
Me
think
too,
good
me
things.
too.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think technique is about shaping the body, and in these like codified things that there is maybe something like anarchistic or like de-hierarchalizing.
Sorry, I
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. You don't come to blank space to get a career. That's like we're not career-centric people.
Okay.
Maybe we are. I don't know.
Why does technique have anything to do with your career?
Girl, if you want to go perform for Rosalia, don't come to learn from us.
Okay.
Did you hear that? Rosalia, aspiring dancers.
We're going crazy.
Yeah.
We're making a lot of bold statements over here.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good question.
Can I say? I just want to add, because it is flexible, because there is so much looseness, because it's a blank space, an open canvas. Yeah. Where do you stop? Right? We could keep going. We could go infinitely into this. Everything is allowed. No no's. Everything is great. Mm-hmm. But I do find that there are some restrictions, like you mentioned, safety-wise. We don't, we don't hurt people when we're in the space. We don't, touch people non-consensually. Like those are, but baseline protocols. Mm-hmm. But creatively, it's everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like that's where that 3-hour time limit comes into play. We do what we can fit into the 3 hours, and then typically the workshops are one-offs. That's a factor. And then something else.
Yeah, I think that's kind of it, right? Like you have 3 hours. What can you do in 3 hours? So it does promote like something fresh. It promotes something like off the cuff. But there really is no limits.
There's also the limit in our ability to reach certain audiences and people, and I think because we have most contacts in the dance world, that's easiest source of facilitators is from that.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
And also because it's maybe a bit intimidating, or people are like, oh, I don't know how I would lead my practice in your space. Right. So anyone that I've encouraged to apply that is maybe a musician or something, they're like, yeah, it's super cool, but give me a minute. I need to think about what I would offer that would work.
Yeah.
At the very least, though, you're planting that idea into their head. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's so wonderful, is that it's anarchist to class.
Yeah.
It's anarchist to technique. It's questioning why we have technique and what it means to be a teacher at the front of the room. And I find that to be such an interesting place to live in, and I'm very curious about that. And so, of course I'll come. Of course I'm going to come and be a blank space as a participant, right? Yeah. And then if you want to get your combo, if you want to do tandis for 3 hours, you can go to those places because they're all around.
Yeah.
That's what I really find so unique about this, and why I wanted to promote it, because I'm so surprised by the art scene here and how little spaces there are to question what would I do with 3 hours of time with willing participants.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think that's another limit being what am I trying to say? I'm going in two directions right now, because I want to comment on on this technique conversation that we're having, because the idea of blank space is that it can be anything and we want anyone, and so we look for people who maybe don't have experience or in one thing want to try something else, or we have these bridges,
right.
But I think sometimes you hear we're trying to break up everything, and so it's just random, or I don't know, I want to posit blank space as an opportunity for I have been learning ballet for 12 plus years, and I really think that I can explode this open, and I have this relationship to technique in my body, and I just want to I want to offer this to someone to rethink what this technique exists in my body. I think that's amazing, and I think to I don't know, I just want to blow open the image, and so it's not just we're going down the crazy hole, we're also going, we can go crazy in so many directions.
Yeah, I think on that, of course, technique is an option to have in the space,
Yeah.
but the maybe mindset of the environment that it's being learned in is
Yeah.
different.
Mhm.
Where
Yeah.
it's like less critical, less maybe like
And like you don't need 12 years of experience doing ballet to be able to blow it open with us. You can just kind of
Absolutely.
jump in
Yeah.
where you are.
Unless
that
that's
day.
requested by the facilitator to like have a specific audience.
Yeah.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
and
That's really neat.
at this point we've never like given that opportunity to a facilitator to say like this is the kind of target audience. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
we've always just said like this is meant for like whoever wants to come.
Yeah.
So I think it's totally valid also because you can go like different places when you kind of have a foundation, like a similar base, then maybe other things are possible. So like I don't think it's like terrible to have this kind of like requirement or thing, but so far we haven't ever
Yeah.
done
Yeah, it maybe is a different avenue.
that. Yeah.
It's also very geared towards emerging artists,
Mhm.
correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah.
And that idea of emerging, you still don't have a practice, you still don't know what kind of discipline you want to focus on. Like, there's already that looseness, I think, as an emergent person.
Mm-hmm.
You're still trying to figure it out for yourself.
Definitely.
And I think in community, those questions get answered
Mm-hmm.
because you're in a safe space where other
Yeah.
people are also like, I don't know, let's figure it out
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
Does that seem accurate to
Yeah.
the kind of people you accept?
Yeah.
Emerging creator, or like you can be in the dance world or the artistic world for a long time without having the experience of facilitating or like kind of your own practice. You can be just used to doing other people's practices
So
for so
true.
long.
Yeah.
So we also have people who maybe are like more established but are wanting the opportunity to kind of teach and lead in this way.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, emerging as in maybe like ideas rather than people, like
Right.
like an idea that's like, oh yeah, I've never experienced my practice like this, or like I'm starting to question my relationship to this, and so I want to. Emerging sometimes I think implies age. It implies like newness, and yeah, like you're saying, it's like
It doesn't have to be that.
it literally doesn't have to be that at all. Emerging, sometimes you're like, oh, I'm not emerging anymore because I'm 30, and you're like,
Right.
girl, I'm never gonna stop emerging.
Yeah. That's totally a conversation too
Yeah.
about like where does it stop?
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't. And this program
Mm-hmm.
offers that ability to continue and
Mhm.
question
Yeah.
and be curious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your face just did something excited.
Oh,
Did it?
Arin?
Yeah. No.
I think it's because Kaelin
I'm
was
playing
touching
with-
my foot.
But
My foot.
I'm so glad you described the body part.
Yeah.
Emerging doesn't have to be a limit.
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Oy vey. What did you just say?
You pointed at my face.
Did you want to add something? I don't know.
it was really just all about
Got you.
the face and the schfoot.
Okay. Yeah. Do we have
Oh man.
There was another thing that you wanted to touch on, right?
I
Because you had one
know.
thing and then you said your brain was going
Different
off into two
direction.
directions.
Oh,
Do you remember the
let's
second?
see. No.
That's
What
okay.
were we talking about?
We were talking about emerging and what it actually means to stop emerging, and if that is even.
But we were talking about technique, and we were talking
Right.
about
You're saying like the vagueness of
Sounds
it
way
all.
the vagueness of it all. I don't know. Maybe.
I am curious about being in community and community building.
Mm-hmm.
When we are in a city that is so capitalistic
Mm-hmm.
and so individualistic and kind of rejects the idea of community.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean? What does it mean to all of you to facilitate a space like this that is so communal?
Yeah. I think like it's always been my like hope and just need to have space where I can exist without an exchange of money or, you know, like growing up and not having like places to go where, you know, like I wanted to hang out with my friends, but I didn't want to have them at my house, or we couldn't go to their house and it was winter time, and you know, like these kind of limitations that you have on your ability to gather and whatever. Like we can go to a cafe, but then we have to spend money, and we can go to a restaurant, you know. I think that was like pretty like baseline, like how we started. We wanted it to just be accessible, and anyone who wanted to come could come, and it was just like we're here to exchange our energy. I mean, it's hard also because I think there's so many people who have an incredible understanding and ability to exist in community in Toronto, but the structures that we live in make it really difficult because, you know, we're trying to provide the space, but we're also like, oh fuck, we have to pay for a studio, we want to pay for the person's time who's leading, so we do rely on like people's donations. Classes are still always free, but we have a pay what you can option or donation option, and all of the money that we make from that go to the people that lead. And we've been really lucky in securing space, like
the Citadel.
The Citadel. We've worked at the Winch before because me and Kaelin like worked there, and so we could get space for free. So like we've just had our savvy little ways of making it easier
to get around it.
And the fifth,
Sarahi
has saved our life.
Friend of the show. I love Sarahi.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
But because it's like those spaces need people to fill.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It
like,
kind of helps them get people in the door and see what they're up to.
For sure. Also, just like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. You know, like no offense, but you know, you're not booking 24/7. There's not like, and so just be like, hi, we would like really appreciate if you had some extra time. You know, like I think people also just want to be kind and people want to share, and I think in the spirit of like trying to create community inside these structures, it's not, you know, it's not everyone is a grinding little pig trying to take all the money, you know, like there's a lot of kindness. It's just you like recognize there's other kinds of exchanges that aren't just money, and we're like really trying to survive off of those things.
That kind of generosity
is like very appreciated,
and it fuels you to continue
for sure. Oh my
makes
god,
it possible.
It's
you would have stopped by now.
I mean, Blank Spaces is as selfless as it is equally a selfish act. It's because I like want to hang out, and I love seeing people, and I like getting the opportunity to learn from so many artists. You know, people are just like so willing to be like, I want to share my practice, and I'm like, it's just like so heartwarming.
For sure.
Artists, you know, need community. Like I think we need to step outside of our bubbles and our isolations from a city or a pandemic even, you know. Like it's very interesting that, you know, you mentioned gathering and how there are factors that limit us from gathering. Well, literally lockdowns did, right? During those digital sessions, did you discover anything about community that was still saturated and wonderful and juicy, or did it really present a different kind of community during that time?
I will say I was thankful to have it, but it didn't fully fill the void or something. Like it wasn't as good as the real thing, and I think that's like a common realization that a lot of people probably had about the pandemic in that time and that way of interacting. Like nothing can really fully replace human-to-human interaction and sharing space and like touching and the kind of spontaneous like side conversations and things that can come up and that are so vital to like a thriving community. But it was, I would say, still as interactive and
like really beautiful things came of it.
Gathertown.
Yes!
Gathertown hit.
If anyone wants to hang out on Gathertown with me, I spent 400 hours building that little island.
Oh, that was so
It
good.
sits there totally abandoned.
This is like the new meta space.
Yeah. Meta wishes. Yeah. No, I think it offers a different format for sure because I mean, like you're saying, I'm having vivid images of doing like like ballet Bob's ballet class and just being like, hey girl, like we would learn the exercise and just like keep punching each other in the face. And you're like, that's just like not achievable. And like like these side conversations.
Because you're at home.
Because you're at home, you're not punching your friend beside you.
Right,
Yeah.
Ballet Bob on Zoom doesn't work.
Yeah, no. And Blank Space was kind of the same, right? Where you're like, I'm hanging with my friends, I can't like have a fun little side conversation unless I'm like in the room, and I don't know. It's like it kind of sterilizes community a bit because it's like it like requires a facilitator to like really organize and clear direction and tasks. I think it gave a lot of lovely content for people to explore in the privacy of their homes and maybe offered like private creative thing, but I think Blank Space is really about community and coming together, and so being able to do that in the flesh was
a dream.
Going back after that.
I mean, absolutely, totally agree that Zoom digital spaces just aren't it. They just aren't it. They're not tangible enough for me like feel like an exchange. I just feel like I'm yelling to no one or shouting to the void. Even if someone is yelling at me, I'm just a void for you. Like there's nothing happening.
Yeah.
But out of necessity, that was what you all had to do, and you continue.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's still like a beacon of hope in a time when you are super isolated. It's like, yes, I would rather meet up online and do fun activities together and make the most of it than be like, okay, see you guys in 2 years. Like, we had to. But
Yeah. I mean, what a beautiful step for accessibility to be like, now everyone knows a way of connecting to someone who maybe can't leave the house, who maybe, who suffers from immunodeficiency viruses and like can't access friendship or whatever all the time, being able to have such an easy tool, I think that's beautiful. And yeah.
So there's options between like having a hybrid model now because of what you went through.
Yeah, totally.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't take a lot of classes over the pandemic, but the ones I did really like felt like self-care, like really were pleasurable to me, and I think maybe because I didn't take too many, it wasn't like something I was like battling with and like frustrated about all the time. I took them when like online classes when I felt like it and could like really indulge in them, and I've totally lost my point.
I don't know, like maybe the opportunity that you're like in your space and there isn't an outside like viewers or anything, like it allows you to really take
That's true.
the class for yourself and do it the way you want it to.
That is true, but then on the flip side of that, so much of I think sharing space and being in Blank Space specifically is like being inspired by what's that person across the room doing, and when they're like reduced down to like a tiny little box on the other side of your room, you're like you're not picking up that kind of information and influence that you would be.
Interesting.
Oh my god, yeah.
Works both ways.
I'm wondering too, like, just this is popping into my head too, like, if you receive a submission from someone who is like, this needs to be on Zoom, or like, this needs to be through Gather Town, like, then you can offer that. You know, like, it's
totally. We had this beautiful session, Miero, who was like, I'm in Guelph, and there's literally no way for me to come to Toronto. Let's do this online. And we're like,
perfect.
Easy.
Yeah, we fucking can.
Yeah.
And that was a really fun session. We wrote a lot, and I have still all those poems and things saved to my computer.
I think some practices lend themselves really well to that space.
For sure.
And we were writing a lot and like exchanging writing, so it was kind of this like, I write something and someone comes along and like finishes my story and then some other person. So that worked really well online because we had this fun little Gather Town circle walk around clipboard situation that it worked.
It simulates, what you're doing in person.
It's fun. Cool. I think I figured out why I went on this like big I love self-indulging and going off on a video class in my room thing is and it's so accessible and it's like just so it can be a nice treat or something and maybe it's an interesting thing to think about now that the world has opened up so much again and we're kind of not thinking that way anymore. I don't know, like a lot of performances are still doing live streams, and that's like super popular and like a really good idea, and something I think that will move forward. And like, how can we
God.
I don't know, could we have a zoom in option for blank space, like hybrid
or
and-
having someone like offer something like weekly or monthly or something that's like an online activity,
Yeah.
like they
Sound bath,
Yeah.
a guided meditation, a practice.
Mhm.
I think there could be also some fun like intermedia stuff, like
Mhm.
a educational video or something that could be really cool. And if anyone wants to do any of that,
Submission form is still open.
Yeah, it's
it will be
still
in the link in the
open.
description.
we can help you any way we can.
let's go online.
Let's go online.
A little bit.
Another thing I want to ask about is your Substack.
Yeah, that's me. These people don't know what the Substack is. Yeah.
What's a Substack?
What's
Uh-huh.
going
What's
on?
a Substack? Well, it's like a place to put writing, right?
Yeah, it's like
So,
blog basically.
If someone wants to, like you said, like use the writing of the
Yeah,
poems and
yes, yes.
exchanging, like there's a space for that as well
Yeah.
to document it and like.
Yeah, I made it to have like like class information like accessible because we were doing like an email format at one point, and then I mean most of our information now is on Instagram. I think we have like a lot of avenues where we can take Oversize Load, and yeah, but it's a little untouched. If people want to submit writing, I will definitely. I think also like a part of our like as we like facilitate space for people is like also an opportunity to like produce work and like share like you know things in small ways. We dream of festivals, we dream of commune, we dream of
And I think that's like the periphery of like Oversize Load. We focus a lot on blank space,
Right.
and we do want to like work on creating our own pieces or kind of like building a collective in a different way.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
Lots to
there will be
explore.
more to come, and we'll figure out what we want to do. But I think blank space has been like a really great start for us.
Yeah, I think in what we started kind of talking about how like we like as we share this load, this oversize, we get to then pass it around in different ways, and this was a lovely opportunity to like explore practice. And I think the idea of like having a 15-hour long blank space, the idea of
Broken up over a couple days, I think.
No.
Not choreo marathon.
oh, not choreo marathon
Marathon
style. No, but then being able, and then being able to expand on creation. We're like on the long road.
Cool. The long and winding road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. But yeah, if anyone wants to submit writing to our Substack, please.
It's there.
Yeah. I'll be
I
posting a
read it.
poem, I guess.
Ooh,
But it's just like another, like I said, another avenue, another space, another platform to share ideas. Like
For
again,
sure.
it goes with that like loose feeling of like this doesn't just have to be for class setting or
For sure.
in person.
Well,
it could be Zoom. It could be writing. Yeah.
For sure, both of the titles that we have inhabited, Oversize Load and Blank Space, are both like Blank Space very clearly is like here is space, it is blank, do something with it.
Yeah.
And the idea for when I was like Oversize Load is the title, I was like I feel like it just feels like this like pile of stuff that is like has so many facets and so many different things. Like how what does that look like? How does that pour out of itself? How does it feels like. Has anyone played Katamari Damacy before?
Can't
No.
say I have.
It's this like
Sounds
game where you're like a little person and you're rolling a ball and you're really, really small and you collect things, and so they'd collect things off the table and then they get bigger, 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 and then by the time you're like rolling over cities and you're like, you're just this big ball collecting things, it feels like this like this like intrinsic collecting of stuff. That's the image from
So
yeah.
nice.
I see that. It builds like a radius.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
expanding.
That has like its own center of gravity. I think that's exciting.
Ever emerging, ever
Yeah.
growing, ever expanding.
I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
Yes.
We need a mascot. That guy.
Oh yeah, if anyone comment down below what's the mascot.
True.
Is this a YouTube video? Can they comment like
It
that?
is.
Yeah.
It's not a video, but it's
Yeah.
It's audio only.
Too bad, because we're all wearing really cool matching fedoras right now.
Yeah. And
also,
they,
we're in Mars.
Uh-huh.
Right now. We're not even on Earth.
Yeah.
Inside.
inside of Mars. And they were lying to you. There is not a frozen water layer here. I knew it.
Darn it!
Yeah.
Curses.
Oh.
So who do you have coming up? What's March looking like?
Well, first of all, again, another thank you to Sarai for allowing us to use the 5th, because we are very excited to move around homes and use that space.
For March, we have Steph
Harkness.
Yeah. Yeehaw.
We have Susanna
Height.
Height?
Yes.
Yeehaw, baby.
Uh-huh.
and
then-
Amelia Earhart.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Uh-huh.
And
So
a really nice lineup.
everyone's gonna go.
Yeah, and I think we're just doing those 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Tuesdays?
No, we're
Not confirmed yet, but
not
we're
around.
looking for a little
Friday, Saturday situation.
Saturday evening kind of
A
moment.
little weekend.
Change it up. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
This
Also.
was the first time that we tried Tuesday during the day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Normally we're kind of like a Friday night thing,
Yeah.
Totally.
but we had one session this
Yeah.
last week on Valentine's Day.
Oh,
Me and
yes.
Kaelin led it, and we don't often lead, so it was like
Yeah.
a really special treat.
That was my first
and
time.
it was
Yeah.
it was lovely.
And I think, let us know in the comments. We want to know what your favorite day is.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah.
All
What?
dependent on when there's
Oh,
time
like,
available.
When
to
there's
us.
time
Day of the
available.
week,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's hard for us to meet everyone's schedule. So
For
like,
sure.
and I was happy with the turnout we had for Tuesday
sure.
afternoon, but
Yeah.
I think it's like we're just playing around and seeing what is best.
Absolutely.
It's so hard to know, like even
Yeah.
for
Well, because we're all like in this freelance
yeah,
world,
true.
we all have
Yeah.
like super unsteady schedules that are just,
literally by the day changing.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
I wake up every single morning. I'm like,
Who am I doing?
who am I? I was like getting ready for tomorrow. I was like, I don't. Aaron's like, your podcast. I'm like, right, okay.
So that's why no one responded to
Yeah.
me.
We are also.
Are we doing this?
Yeah, in the fun queer collective sense, we have no clue what our jobs are. We're like, who's gonna respond to emails this week?
Right.
Ooh, that's
And
so
it was a
awesome.
hectic week for us because we moved houses.
Yes.
Me and Kaelin are roommates now.
Yeah.
And
You now have a blank space in your house.
yeah,
to
we have
film.
space.
We
a
do
big
have a-
studio
Mhm.
space. Well,
Yeah, that's the
medium
future. Is we
size.
do have a medium-sized studio that we might be hosting from in the future.
Yeah, that's
Very cool.
That's our big
Tentatively.
dream.
Yeah.
Very, very
Intimate sessions.
Yeah.
And
Uh-huh.
yeah, any time of day you can imagine because it's right in your home.
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
I know.
That's the dream.
Yeah.
Don't tell our landlords. Yeah.
Wait, but if we're not charging,
Yeah.
which we
They
That's
can.
true.
kind
They
of
can't
don't,
say things.
anyways, then hey,
Yeah.
it's all
True.
Yeah.
Carl, if you're listening,
Yeah.
we're
Actually,
gonna do it. We're gonna do it. It's
his,
gonna be
his
in-
name
it's
is
in
the
place.
other Mario Bros character.
Luigi.
Luigi. I didn't want to say it, but what a great name.
Shout out to Luigi.
Shout out to Luigi.
So great lineup for March, absolutely. So
Oh, yeah.
and I'll include the your Instagram so people can check out when exactly that is and how to get tickets and all that stuff. But come to my session as well.
Yeah.
Which I'm very excited about.
Yeah. I'm
We're-
so sad I missed your last session. I'm so excited to be at this one.
I'm so stoked because I think I wrote in my application like this literally feels like the exact thing I want to do is like there's
Mhm.
literally no technique, there's no
Yeah.
structure, like it's
Uh-huh.
such an improvisational bangarang,
Uh-huh.
gangbang, like
Gangbang.
just
Remember our respect and
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing me back under earth.
No, but
I
we
was
have.
going into the
Gangbang, gangbang.
stratosphere.
A speed dating.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Is that bad? Did I
Nail
just move
salon.
forward?
Speed. Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Oh, I
Speed dating
do.
actually was cute.
That would be really
I would actually
cute.
love to.
There's
should do
so much
that.
potential.
There's so much potential.
Yeah, I'm really. It's my dream. It's my baby. It's our love.
And I'm like so happy to babysit it for you
Yeah.
next Tuesday because I'm
Yeah.
like I want more spaces like this where everyone can come with whatever they have in that moment and throw it into the oversized load, throw it into the load, and we start making an avalanche. And it's like, and by the end of the 3 hours, like what I hope is that we like figure out what worked and what didn't work, and like honor both of those things.
For sure.
Nice.
So come.
Yeah.
Enjoy the playground. Apply.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I love moving, and I see your ideas. I'm like, that's what I want to do.
Oh my god, friend.
Yeah.
It is my favorite part about organizing these things is just going to them and having all these wonderful classes.
It's gonna be so fun.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for that opportunity.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
When you selected me.
We would be nothing without you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Truly.
Really.
Where, as individuals, can people find you if they want to know more about you singularly?
LOL. You can find me on Instagram. Aronyk-Schell.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's it.
That's it. I'm Kaelin Isserlin, and you can find me Kaelin Baby on Instagram.
Or follow their LinkedIn.
Another avenue.
Yeah. I don't have any, but I'll be presenting in Hamilton at Prospects on the 23rd. I remember the day by day thing.
You're right.
Yeah, I literally I showed up to rehearsal today and I was like, Kylie Thompson was like, when's your show? And I was like, looked at all my dancers. I was like.
You're like, I will show up. I just don't know when.
But yeah, I have made, I would say, a pretty cool piece with a really amazing group of people. So that's where you can find me.
It's real dope.
Yeah.
It's real dope.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Exciting. You can find me, Morgyn, at Morgyn on Instagram, but that's too good.
Sorry.
The is also part of your handle.
Yeah, you can send me voice notes in my DMs of that noise.
Yes.
And
No. Okay.
I don't think so. I probably won't
I'm
reply
gonna
to
do
those.
it.
That's boundary.
That's a boundary.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
And where can we find you?
Me? Oh god, you can find me next Tuesday at the Citadel at 12:30. No, but I'm very much looking forward to improvising with all of you and for the people who come. And just off of what we were saying earlier, you don't have to be a specific kind of artist to come. Please, musicians, please, musicians, please come. Because I would love to have live music as much as possible and just people to fill the space. Sculptors.
Totally.
If you're a sculptor, come bring your stuff. Thank you so much, you three.
Thank you.
You won.
I'm so grateful for your time.
Yeah,
Thank
this
you
is
for
always
making
fun. I love talking with you.
Thanks for coming back to the pod too. Long time ago.
Second time.
Yes.
Okay, next time we do this, we should review dancers.
Yeah, after show, we've got
I've
some.
got hot takes.
Yeah? We can keep going. We can stop. We can pineapple the pod.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
What show in particular? Tell us now. No, I'm just kidding. Any more final thoughts?
I think that's really nice. I think this was really fun to do. Thank you.
Yeah. I really like what you're doing here with your podcast.
Yeah. Podcasts are so fun.
Yeah.
Yay. Thank you, friends. Thank you so much for listening to the Artversations podcast. Please help the podcast community continue to grow by clicking subscribe or follow on your podcast platform and leave a review. As well, follow the podcast on Instagram at ArtVersationsPod. You'll find photos of the guest you just heard, plus highlights and quotes from each episode. Let's keep the Artversation going. Send in a DM with your thoughts about art and any questions you might have for guests. Special thank you goes out to Jen Marquez and Maxim Bartnowski for their contributions. And thank you, listener. Till next time.